The script was very secret. I don't think that I was allowed to read. I was allowed to read a couple of scenes, but it was all very, you know, hush hush. And so we worked through some of the scenes together, and I started to realize Sacha was doing a lot of his improv, which was wild. I mean, he just started taking the scene in a completely different direction than was scripted, and I started to get an idea of like, okay, this is a crazy, crazy project. I play Zoe. She runs a co-op grocery store in Brooklyn, sort of a health food, vegan. She describes it as a feminist cooperation, which I don't, or collective, feminist collective, which I don't really understand what that means. She's very strong-willed, she's very passionate, she's very optimistic, she wants to see the best in people. So when she meets the dictator, she believes that he's a refugee and wants to help him and, you know, take him under her wing. She believes it's just a huge cultural divide. Whenever he says something that's really offensive, she sort of excuses it out of, you know, being such a good-natured, kind-hearted person. This movie is different from Borat and Bruno because, you know, we have a script, we have other actors, and his character goes through a you know, huge journey, and so it's a much more maybe traditional process than maybe what he's done before. Everything about him shifts, and it's sometimes you don't know which Sacha you're going to get, if you're going to get Aladdin or if you're going to get Sacha. But it's really amazing, and his ability to improv is, you always have to be on your toes with this project. So it's really stimulating for me because I just never know where we're gonna go. I really love the way I look in this movie because it feels kind of independent and certainly not very vain, which is really fun. Sacha does, you know, pretty much all of his own stunts, and it's amazing. The first time we meet is outside of the UN, and he gets blasted by this water gun or water hose, and it's amazing. He just flies backwards, and they put him up on a crane with a wire, and they kept, like, you know, jerking him backwards and soaking him, and he was like still in great spirits. I think he must have really liked it. Larry Charles, he's so smart, and I think he's really got, it's easy to, because all the scenes can be so chaotic, and he's really got the sense of the bigger, of what this movie is in the bigger picture, and sometimes it's easy because we do so many crazy things, and the scenes can go in so many different directions, which is part of the fun of the movie. He's really got his, like, sort of eye on the bigger picture. This movie is so timely, and it's so, it's really sort of reflecting on what's happening in the world right now around us. And I think it's also really satisfying to see a dictator lose all his power. But I think it's also, we get a glimpse of his world, you know, the palaces and the excess and, like, the wardrobe and, you know, the animals and the women. I think I would be a terrible dictator. I know I would be a terrible dictator.